Hello, this is Dr. Alan Harper, your Secure Vibe coder, and I'm here for another live Secure Vibe coding session. And we are working on this app that we call User Vibes OS. And the purpose of this app is to collect vibes from the user throughout the user journey lifecycle. So from when they first hit our landing page all the way through to when they become customers. We want to be able to collect feedback from those customers by way of feature requests and bug reports. And then we want to be able to measure them all the way through cradle to grave and even try to recapture them if they decide to churn. And that's the purpose of this app. And we've been focusing on the feedback portion down here. And because there's limited competition in this space and we know what their flaws are and we already are exceeding most of those competitors. All right, then we'll probably work our way around this way. Now, in terms of the app, we have a front end that's a JavaScript widget that we enable the developers to drop into their site within 1 to 3 minutes, depending on how they want to configure it. So we make it super easy for them. Of course, they can go to our landing page and sign up. We can take credit card. Then once they get on the back end, they have a dashboard where they have metrics and so forth. And then we also allow them to set up an API key. And then we use Convex to keep it all in sync. All right. If you're here with me tonight, go ahead and drop me a hello. Tell me that you're here, and I'd appreciate it and where you're from. Now, we have two forms of authentication that we can use from the widget back to our server. We use API keys. We have public keys and secret keys. All right. If they use the public key mode, we call that tier one, then the developer can just enable that public key and send that public key back with the request from the user's client browser to our server directly. Now that's tier one mode. If they want tier two security mode, then what they'll do is they'll take their secret key that they generated on our backend dashboard and they would generate a Java web token. And they will sign that request that comes from the client. And that way we can validate it for them on the back end and log them in. Okay, so here's the list of features that we've been working on. And last night we did some security testing, but it occurred to me after we finished that I had stopped that security testing midstream and redirected it because it was going after the wrong directory. And because of that, we ended up with less with a partial security scan. All right, so we're going to do that again tonight because I'm looking for some particular outputs, and I'll show you that here in just a moment. And so, matter of fact, let's go ahead and get that kicked off. So here is our source code. Okay, so we are using anti-gravity, and then we are running Claude Code from within anti-gravity. And anti-gravity is just the IDE of the week for us. We switch, I switch IDEs often depending on the feature set. I'm liking the stability of the anti-gravity. It hasn't crashed on me in the week I've been using it, and that's more than I could say about Windsurf, which used to be my favorite IDE. But they're all forks of VS Code, so if you know one, you know them all. Some people here in the group prefer to use Cursor, and that's just fine. In fact, I'm looking at it myself. All right, so here we are. We have Claude Code in here. And last time we mentioned that we're building this on the Secure Vibe Code OS. That's the foundation that we're using to build this application. I encourage you to do the same. We have this Secure Vibe Code OS out here on GitHub. You can go ahead and download it. You can clone it or fork it. And then there's instructions here for it. But I want to note that it has security batteries included, right? So you get all of these security features for free. It takes you about 10 minutes to install it. So you'd be crazy not to do that. It'll take you a week or two to do this without this tool. Okay. And then many people don't get to putting all these things in, so they have a less secure site. So here we practice secure vibe coding. That's what we're all about. You can learn about vibe coding on other people's channels, but I promise you they won't even mention security. And so that's a shame. So we are standing in the gap and we are trying to make a difference one app at a time. So join us. Make sure that you follow me on whatever platform that you find this. Make sure that you sign up for alerts so that you know when I go live again. Also, check me out in that QR code and the link down below. You'll learn more about my free mentoring group. And inside of that mentoring group, I'm providing value daily. And then you also find a secure vibe coding masterclass. And then you also find that you can get more access to me up there as well. All right. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get this security scan going properly this time. Okay. And then I'm going to talk to you about it and while it's running. So let's go ahead and get it going. It's going to take a little bit. Okay. In fact, I'm going to start a brand new. I want to start a brand new Claude Code here because I want a virgin context. All right. Okay. And all right. I want you to perform a comprehensive security assessment. I want you to use your agents for that. And I want you to perform that assessment on the root of the project and start at the root and assess all of the files, but ignore the test site folder because that contains a test site and that we're using, and there's no need to assess that at this time. Okay, so that's going to go off and run. Now, once again, what's going on here is it's going to invoke the security orchestrator. We'll see that get called here in a second. And last time it got called, but it was starting to do its thing and I stopped it. Then when I restarted it, I didn't realize that it was not doing the full prompt. And that's okay. So we fixed a bunch of security vulnerabilities yesterday. We might get some new ones tonight. Okay, so notice that it's firing off this security orchestrator. I'm going to pay attention to it because you notice here now it's trying to write the reports in the correct place. So I'm going to say yes, go ahead and write that. Okay, I'm going to try to keep an eye on this because I don't want it to stop and wait on me. But in the meantime, I'll explain to you what's going on. So we have a security orchestrator, and the purpose of that, and this comes with the Secure Vibe Coding OS. Again, you get that out here on GitHub. You just go on GitHub and look for Secure Vibe Coding OS. You'll find it under my repo, Harper AA. It's free, it's open source. Go ahead and fork it, push pull requests to me. I'd love to have your contributions as well. If you find any issues with it, make sure that you put a bug request up there or let me know what's going on. So inside of that Secure Vibe Coding OS, we have, oh, here we go again. Okay, so we have these agents and we also have Claude skills. We have a number of security skills, some 30 that they're nested in these folders. And that's the security batteries that are included in this thing, folks. I hope you appreciate that. Okay, and so we've made Claude Code, which is already the premier model, we've made it a security engineer as well, okay, by including these security batteries. Now, one of the things it gets is a security orchestrator, and what its job is to run the security scan. So one of the first things it's going to do is it's going to it's going to run the scanner. It also runs a threat modeler, and then what it's going to do is take those results and it's going to do a security tracer, which basically means it's going to verify. It's going to run through each one of those findings in detail, and it's going to make sure that they're not false positives. Right, it's going to go look at the code. It's going to make sure that, because security scanners will give you false positives. Now, the security scanner that it uses is SemGrep. Okay, so I just clicked on that. And in here, you'll see that SemGrep is the tool. That's the tool of choice right now. It's a really lightweight but comprehensive security scanner for static file analysis. Okay, so we have SemGrep installed. If you don't have it installed, it will install it for you right here. So the first thing it's doing is just checking if it's installed, and then it'll go ahead and run it if it's not right here. Okay, and then it'll go ahead and run the scan. Now, SemGrep is a really cool tool. It even has a web version. It has a free version. That's what we're going to use, but it also has a paid version. And if you're going to do this for a living, I suggest you go ahead and get the paid version. It's very cheap. And it has this web GUI on it where you can see your findings like up in this web. So you could see this just like a demo OWASP scan here. And you could see all the findings ranked, like here's the critical, here's the highs. You can like get details on each of these. It'll actually take you to the code and show you the problems. Really, really good, but also lightweight and comprehensive security scanner, SEMGREP. Okay, I highly recommend that. And again, it's free, and that's what we're going to use tonight. Okay, and so this thing it's going to kick that off here in a second. Again, the security orchestrator is doing its thing, but one of the things it's going to do is kick off that scan, and we'll see it. We'll just keep an eye on it down here, and it should write a really detailed report for us. Now, the good news is I already ran one of those on the Secure Vibe Code OS. Oh, it's asking us. Okay, so it's going to write the threat model out. And as part of the threat model, it writes the architecture, like what databases you're using, what environments you have set up, like API calls and all of that stuff. So that's all part of the threat model. Okay. Again, I want to keep an eye on this because I don't want it waiting on me. Okay. So what I was going to say is also in the docs folder of this Secure Vibe Code OS, you will find a security folder, and in there you will find the assessment that I ran before I even gave this to you. And it will tell you in this assessment that this baseline is in the top 1 to 5% of websites that are out there, okay, in terms of security. And that's saying a lot. So our job then as secure vibe coders is to not mess that up. We want to keep that high level of fidelity when it comes to security of a posture of our site, right? It does you no good to build all this site and get it out there and get it hacked, right? And I'm afraid that's what a lot of vibe coders are heading to. So what we do is we do secure vibe coding here, right? And we do everything that we do has security in mind. Okay, there's another question it's asking. It should stop asking those questions here in a second. All right, so here it goes. Step 2, perform a vulnerability discovery and scan. And that's when it's going to use SEMGREP for. All right. So what you'll notice here is last night we used the AI to do security assessment. It's pretty good, but what it does is just, looks at the code and looks for all of the OWASP top 10 and stuff. Now, what is OWASP? Okay, here's another question it's asking me. Don't ask again. Okay. So what is OWASP? OWASP stands for Open Web Application Security. Okay, so here's what it looks like. Where are we at? I know I had it up here. Introduction. Oh, here we go. Okay, I'm going to make sure I get this on so I can see it. Okay, so the OWASP top 10, if you're going to be doing web apps, you need to know about the OWASP. Okay, OWASP is the gold standard for cybersecurity of web pages, has been for more than 20 years. Okay, seriously. And they put out really good guidance on web security, and also have something for mobile security and even AI security. Like they've been killing it for more than 20 years. All right. So you definitely want to pay attention to these guys. You want to be aware of the top 10 list at the very least. And then they even have a comprehensive security testing guide that goes much deeper than the top 10. Okay, so if you're really going to geek out on this cybersecurity space, you need to know these resources. Now, we look at the top 10 because if we knock down those top 10, then we're in the 95th percentile like of websites out there in terms of cybersecurity. Okay, so they just updated in November. It's actually not official yet. They have a release candidate, but they have the 2025. Okay, before that it was 2021, which is still pretty darn good because things haven't changed that much in web security over the last 4 years. But here's the new top 10. And I'm not going to go through all of these tonight, but just, in high level, while the scan's running over here, and I need to let it do its thing. Hit yes. Oh, I don't like that. Why was it giving me that error? Okay, we'll keep an eye on that. Okay, I think it was trying to feed too much into the LLM. So at a high level, what this thing does looks for a broken access control. So that would be like once the user's logged in, are you restricting them so they can't see other users' stuff? And we ran into some of that last night and we fixed it. Okay, so and this will verify that fix. So that's good that we're doing this again. Okay, it also looks for security misconfiguration. So this would be like the way that you configure your app. like, do you have API keys present? Things like that, right? Do you have hardwired stuff in your app, like hardwired secrets and things like that? Okay, so then also software supply chain failures. This would be like, are you using old libraries that are making you vulnerable? That's the number. That's the number three way that web apps get hacked. So these are in order. Okay. The fourth way that they get hacked is through cryptographic failures. Now, the worst thing you can do is roll your own encryption. Okay. Never, ever, ever roll your own encryption. You want to use proven and tested libraries that are publicly available and scrutinized. You never want to roll your own encryption. Okay. I'll say again, do never roll your own encryption. Hey, 3Ds, you out there with us tonight? I imagine you are. All right. Anyone else that's joined us, drop me a hello. Tell me you're here. All right, the next one up is injections. Okay, so injections they used to be increasingly like one of the top two or three exploits, but we've done a great job and frameworks have done a great job to kind of protect us from this. But what an injection attack is when an attacker puts malicious code into your website, like be it JavaScript or a long buffer or something. They just inject malicious input into your website on any attack surface, and that can be the obvious attack surfaces like fields in a form. Those are obvious, but there's not so obvious ones like your backend APIs or your headers in your packet. In your HTTP packet, there's headers, and those fields can be injected. And if you aren't handling that properly, or if you rolled your own server on the back end, you could be in for a bad day. Now we're using Next.js; it'll handle all that stuff for us, right? So that's why like injections has come down on the list, all right? But that's what that is, injections. The next one is insecure design. Like again, do you let people go straight to your database without going through an API and doing rate limiting and checking and stuff like that? Authentication failures. Okay, so we outsource all of our authentication to Clerk, and so we're good on that. That's a SOC 2 certified identity provider. You can't get any better than that, folks. So if they get hacked, then lots of sites are having a bad day, including us. But it's pretty unlikely that that'll happen. Hey, Rebecca, thanks for saying hello and thanks for joining us tonight. I appreciate it. I really do. Anyone else out there, drop me a hello. Tell me where you're from. Okay, so we are running a security scan here in the background, and I'm going through what the OWASP top 10 is because we are secure vibe coders. Again, you could find out about vibe coding on other people's channels, but they won't even mention cybersecurity. Okay. We focus on everything we do here is with security in mind. So that's why you tune in to me. Please like and subscribe, send the algorithm some love so it sends me some love. And then also check me out with that QR code up there. You can join my free mentoring, also link in the description. And then inside of my free mentoring, you'll find out that I'm dropping value daily. Have about 7,000 people in there. So join that group. Also, have a secure vibe coding masterclass in there. And this stuff that I'm teaching here in my nightly sessions is part of that, but I go much deeper in that masterclass. Okay. So if you sign up for that, you also get more access to me. Okay. So check that out. And I hope you're blessed by that. I'm running a sale through Cyber Monday, and you can find out more about that inside of the free group. Just go in there and search for Black Friday sale. Okay. All right, where were we? Oh, it's still over here asking me questions. Yes, keep going. All right, and then so authentication failures, software or data integrity failures. So again, this has to do with the actual software itself. Do you have is it buggy? Like does it have vulnerabilities in it? Okay, and then all right, we're still down here asking questions from the orchestrator. Okay. And then logging and alerting failures. Whenever you log, you want to make sure that you don't give too much information in your logs. That is a fatal flaw because you're helping the bad guy out. Now, in the old days, like back before many of you were born, I was doing web scanning like 25 years ago, and those websites would just throw up on the page. They would give you like the whole stack dump, and that's just a gold mine for attackers. You're just helping them debug their exploit, of your vulnerability. So nowadays, what we do is give very terse, very brief descriptions of our errors, and we try not to give away any details. Like, definitely never put a stack trace out there. So things like that would be this category of attack. And then the last one here is mishandling exceptional conditions. So in modern web programming, there's something called asynchronous commands. And what those are is like, we will send a request off and we will try to get a response back. And that's the command. It's a programming command called try. But then what we would do is we will catch if there's an exception. And if we don't catch if there's an exception, then that application is going to crash if there's an exception. But if we catch it, then we have the opportunity to handle it and maybe retry gracefully. Okay, so that's what these are about, these errors here. Now, the reason why there are security issues is because one of the fundamental tenets of cybersecurity, there are three of them. There's confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So confidentiality is pretty obvious. Like, we want to keep our secrets secret, right? We want to keep our clients' secrets secret. Okay, that's confidentiality. But integrity is important too, because if an attacker can get in and mess with our data and make our users not trusted anymore, well, then they're going to quit and they're going to want a refund, right? So integrity is important too. But then also availability is super important, because if they've signed up for our site and they can't get to it, then there's a lack of availability, and that's a big problem. And you're going to have to be refunding people if you get too much of that, right? So this last one here helps you with availability. All right. So again, we've got the scan running back here. I have to babysit it a little bit and keep telling it to keep going. It's running the scanner as part of what I call the Secure Vibe Code OS. And again, you can get that out here on GitHub. If you're a coder or a Vibe coder or a regular coder, you're going to want to get your hands on the Secure Vibe Code OS out on GitHub. Drop me a star. Show me some love. It's only been up for a few weeks or a month, and not many people found it yet. But come out here and you will see that it's got all these security features. I call them security batteries included for free. Okay, continue that. All right, so you get all this stuff built in. All you have to do is basically download this thing, unpack it, and install it. Okay, and all the instructions are down here how to do that. And if you go look at the second video in this series, I install it for this particular app that we're writing called User Vibes OS. So let me go show you that app real quick again. It's called User Vibes OS. Okay, so this is the app that we are building here tonight, and each night we're on the 21st session. So that means we've been doing this for 3 weeks. All right. And in 3 weeks, we've accomplished more than 3 months, maybe 6 months worth of development of just humans. Okay. And we've done it like in 3 weeks. And by the way, we're only working about an hour and a half a day. Excuse me. So think about that. We got about 30 hours into this thing, and we've got 3 months plus worth of work done. That's the beauty of vibe coding. Okay. You can get 10 times the amount done, sometimes 100 times the amount done. It's like having 100 developers working for you, at least 10. Okay. If you know what you're doing, you can get more than that out of it. And that's what we do here. All right. So, and I teach that again in my Secure Vibe Coding Masterclass. You can find out in that QR code and in the link below. All right. So, this User Vibes OS that we're building here, the purpose of it is to collect vibes throughout the user journey lifecycle. Okay. So we make it easy for developers to drop a widget into their website, and then they get vibes from the user throughout the journey. So whether that user's just first hit their landing page and gone into their funnel, we can get vibes from that. We can like put surveys, we'll help them put surveys up in front of their users so they can get vibes. We can qualify them. We can put them on a wait list. We can put them on an email list. And that's all of these things right here. But we have been focusing right here on the blue block, the feedback. We originally started with the feature request, and now we've added bug reports. These are vital feedback that every developer needs for their application. And right now, there's only a few good options out there for that, and they're very pricey and not very configurable and not very user friendly. Okay, so and I know that because I've been developing for a while, and I've been always wanting to have better tools here. But actually, nobody is putting it all together. So that's our value proposition, right? That we will make it easy for developers to collect these vibes should they choose all the way through the life cycle. Now we're just starting here with the feedback, and we will launch our MVP with just this feedback here shortly. I don't know how long it'll take us, maybe another month or so of messing around with this, trying to polish it up, maybe less, maybe a couple weeks. Stay tuned. Okay, so it's asking for some more reports. Okay, here it is. It's writing the reports. That's what I wanted to see. Okay, cool. 3Ds, you out there with us? I keep asking. He's been here from the start. Maybe he couldn't make it tonight. All right. So this app allows a developer to drop a JavaScript widget in. And our goal is to make that easy for them to install in 1 to 3 minutes. And we have that working. Okay. And then they can sign up, of course, on our landing page, and they can come back and sign in and we take credit card. And then they can get they get access to a dashboard, and then on that dashboard they set up their API keys, and then we keep track of everything. We keep everything in sync with the Convex database. Okay, we love Convex. We've seen over and over again how it's saved us a great amount of time, but also it's a real-time database. So when we update something, it like updates in the back end immediately, and we'll demonstrate that even probably tonight again. Okay, and I'm just keeping an eye over here. Our security scan is finishing up. All right, so we allow 2 modes of security for the APIs that are going back and forth. We call it tier 1 mode and tier 2 mode. Tier 1 mode uses public key. Tier 2 uses a secret key, which is used by the developer to generate a Java web token, and then they can sign that request and comes back to our server. Okay, all right, so looks like our report is done. Let's check this out, guys. All right, so where did it put those? Let's figure that out. We'll click here, and we can see those new reports right here. They're all in the security assessment folder under security reports. Okay, well, that makes sense. All right, so let's come in here. Excuse me. Okay. Here they are. Security reports, security assessment. Right click on that, and we'll say open preview. Okay, so check this out, guys. All right, we're looking pretty good. Already better than it was last night. All right, so here's what it found. And again, it ran the SemGrep tool here for us. All right, and we have some findings here that we need to fix. All right, so there's 3 critical findings. The first is cross-site scripting, and okay, this affects all customer websites. All right, so cross-site scripting is a very common vulnerability, and it can be very dangerous. Probably not in this situation, but that's okay. We will validate this, and we will fix this. All right, the next one, and what that does is it allows the user to put JavaScript in our web app, and then let somebody else come behind that attacker, and then they get hacked. Okay, so this is an attacker hacking your users as a developer. That's a bad day. Okay, the next one is missing sanitization from HTML for request submissions. Okay, so that's a form of cross-site scripting as well. These are all input validation attacks. Remember we said that's like number 5 on the OWASP top 10? Okay, and then missing sanitization for comments. Okay, cool. So these are all input validation attacks, and we'll let AI fix that for us. Okay, and then we'll confirm it. All right, then we have some high findings here. The post-message wildcard origin vulnerability. Okay, and then missing post-message origin validation. Okay, and then there's 3 medium ones here. Okay. All right, so let's see here what it's recommending. So it's telling us the categories. Okay. And by the way, you can see what these are. These are in that OWASP language that I showed you earlier. If you joined us late, you can check that out later. Just go back and look at the beginning of this. All right, so now we get the details. Now we're not going to go through this whole file. I'm just going to kind of skim it, but I want you to get a feel for the complexity of it, okay? Or like the depth of it. And you can read this, it's in plain English. And if you don't understand anything in here, what you can do is tell AI, you can tell Claude, hey, in the report, like finding number one, I don't understand that. Explain it better, break this down to me like I'm five, right? And it will do that, okay? Trust me. So if this is like making your head spin, like don't worry, like we're just trying to, move through this because we're on a schedule here. But like my purpose is just to kind of show you what's possible, and then you're going to have to come back and you're going to have to play with this with your own apps, right? And then this will make more sense to you. Okay, so I just want to see these. I want to kind of skim these, see what's going on. Okay, attack scenarios, like they run through how an attacker would hack this. Okay, here's the input source trace. Like this is how the user would give input and how it would actually execute and be an issue. Okay, so here's the recommended fix. Okay. Okay. It's just adding this. Okay. Just adding a few lines of code. It's funny. It says that this would take 4 to 8 hours. That's not true. It's going to take it about 40 seconds. Okay. Stored cross site scripting. Okay. Again, we read the headers of this. I'm not going to go through each one of these. But again, we have it for like future reference and it's in our reports. And I just want you to see like the quality of security scans that you're getting here. Now, what's most important is that we have this, that we fix these things. All right. So it says right here, would you like me to help fix any of these? Yes, I want you to fix each of them using the recommendations in the reports doc. And be careful not to break anything else because everything else is working fine. So I want you to carefully use ultra thinking when you're fixing this, and I want you to be careful again not to break any existing code or functionality. Okay. Now, while this is running, I'm going to put a checkpoint in here. So in case it breaks anything, what I did was I just saved my code up to GitHub and I just put a checkpoint there. I usually put a longer comment, but I wanted to get it in before it starts making changes. Now, if it makes any changes here that breaks anything, I'll just back it out. I'll just hit revert. Okay, so that's a pro tip for you. Okay. Okay, so it's running the fixes right now. It's kind of flashing down there. Let me see if I can get it to calm down. Yeah, give it a little bit more space. Okay, hey guys, where you from? Drop me a hello. I saw Rebecca told me she was here. Who else is here? You guys didn't mention I didn't turn my music on tonight. I gotta get some music on here. Let's get some chill hop going. Okay, so if you've tuned in and you missed the previous stuff, we're running another security scan. That's what we do here. We're Secure Vibes coders, and we focus on cybersecurity. So hang out with me enough, and a lot of this cybersecurity experience will rub off on you. I have 36 years of experience with cybersecurity, longer than many of you have been born, and I've written 7 best-selling books on cybersecurity. And why was the terminal flickering? Well, because I have it. Well, first of all, like I'm running Claude Code in a terminal window down here, and I had it too low; it was compressed. So now I've given it more space, and it can breathe. And now it is. It's kind of sometimes it does flash. Yeah, see, nothing I can do about that. But I have written 7 best-selling books in cybersecurity, and you can check me out. Google me. I'm out there. Dr. Alan Harper. I used to teach at a major university. Um, cybersecurity. I used to be a leader and executive on that university as well. But anyway, had a long career, learned cybersecurity in the Marine Corps, and been doing it, like I said, since well before they called it cybersecurity. We used to call it computer security, information security, network security. Then eventually they called it cybersecurity. And when I first heard that term, I thought, what a dumb term. Like I knew what cyberspace was, like that was everything to do with computers, but like somebody started calling it cybersecurity about 20 years ago. And like I said, I've been doing it for 36 years, so that was kind of weird for me. But I got on with it and been calling it that ever since. Now, what I'm excited about secure vibe coding is, for once, we get to the root of the problem with cybersecurity. You see, cybersecurity all boils down to bad code. Okay, bad design of code, bad implementation of code. That means bad coding practices, bad maintenance of code, bad deployment of code, bad people using bad code. Okay, like if it wasn't for bad code and bad design of code and implementation and such, like we wouldn't have a field. Like but it is very lucrative field in high demand because of all the software issues that we have. Now, there's many facets to the field. Not everybody's focused on the software security side of it, but I'm telling you, after 36 years of observing it and upfront experience, I can tell you confidently that the root of all cybersecurity issues is code. Okay. And all the other stuff that we do around policy and governance and all that stuff, those are all band-aids around the root issue, which is bad code. So eventually you're going to have to fix the code. Now, what I like about secure vibe coding is we finally have the opportunity through AI to fix the code. Because, before there was far too few people who had these skills. Like, there's maybe, I don't know, less than 10,000 of us in the world that even knew how to fix it. Out of the million plus people that are in the cybersecurity field, honestly, there's probably like less than 10,000 or so who had the ability to fix bad code. I was one of them, but it was hard to teach because you had to know coding, basically. Now you don't. AI is a better coder than I am. I've got 46 years of experience with coding. I've coding since I was a boy, since I was like 10 years old. And I'm 56 now. So that's how I know. I've been coding for 46 years. And I could tell you, like, it's far better coder than I am or ever will be. It's better than 99% of the coders on the planet, and soon it will be better than all the coders on the planet. So, like, let's get on with it. Let's start using it to find these software vulnerabilities and let's get them fixed. Now, is it perfect? No. That's why, I teach how to do it securely. It's still not fire and forget, right? You still have to give it some guidelines. And what I've done is I've built a secure vibe code OS for you guys. We talked about that. You can find it on GitHub, and that gives you a secure baseline, right? So that you're building on a secure foundation. And then what you do is your job is just not to mess that up, right? And so what I teach here in these sessions, but also in my secure vibe coding masterclass, link in that QR code and also in the link below, you can find out about my secure vibe coding masterclass, and you can sign up and help protect these apps. Look, there's not enough people out there protecting these apps. And that's my mission. That's becoming my life mission now, is to protect the world through these apps one at a time. Okay, securing these apps one at a time. And that's through you. And that's the apps that I'm building. And then we're going to build an army of secure vibe coders, right? And so it's my dream that we are going to change the world one app at a time and make the world a safer place for our loved ones to, transact one app at a time. Okay. Now, there is no such thing as a totally secure system, and run from anyone who tells you there is. I'll be the first to admit that everything we do here is going to be about 98 to 99% secure. Okay. And turns out you can't get up above that. And there's no such thing as going above that. So we're going to be up there in that top 1% of websites, maybe top 1 to 3% of websites is what we're aiming for. And that's a lot, folks. That's more than most sites out there. I mean, obviously, what I just said. And that's what we're aiming for. We're going to harden this site and all sites that you guys make so that it makes it sufficiently difficult for an attacker to hack. But at the end of the day, the attacker, if they want in, they will get in. But we're going to make it so expensive and so difficult for them that they'll more than likely go somewhere else and pick on someone else. And that's the truth. That's the cold, bare truth about cybersecurity. And run from anyone who's telling you, "Oh yeah, we can make this totally secure." That's not true. That's not true at all. Yeah, I think AI is going to take over most of the IT jobs, including cyber, but we've got a few years for that. And so it behooves us all to start using AI and be part of that wave instead of letting the wave hit us, right? We're going to survive. I'll be just fine. Those of you who get on and get these skills like secure vibe coding and vibe coding in general, like you're going to be okay because you're going to be able to make the new economy and leverage AI beyond IT. Okay. Yeah. The days of corporate IT and stuff are numbered, I'm afraid to say. And I hate that because I've been doing it my whole career and it's been a good career, but like AI can do it better than us. AI can install machines. AI can write code like we're demonstrating here. And people are going to have to adapt. And part of the way to adapt is to leverage the IT to do it. So what that means is future companies won't need 10 people in the IT team. They'll need 2. Okay. And the only reason they need 2 is because one of them probably needs to go on vacation occasionally. And those 2 would do the work of 10. Okay. And some companies would get away with one person doing the work of 10. Now, do you want to be one of those? Or do you want to be one of the 9 who got let go? Okay. So the choice is yours. All right. You've been warned. Now get moving and start stacking these AI skills so you're part of that change instead of it change happening to you. There's nothing we can do to hold this tsunami back. Okay. But what we can do is get our surfboards out and start polishing them. Okay. And then start practicing, carving the waves up. So when that tsunami gets really high and it's wiping people out, we just ride right through it. Okay. That's the goal. Yep. Question was, what would you suggest bachelor students regarding it? Get studying AI in college. And I must admit that's hard to do. Even having been a college professor, I can tell you not many schools are embracing AI. They're afraid of it. They think that you're cheating because you're using it. And the smart schools are actually leveraging AI to let their students do 10 times more because that's what the workforce is requiring. So it does you no benefit to come out of college not knowing AI because you're not going to be able to, you're going to find it difficult to get a job. Go on YouTube and look for this new video just came out a couple of days ago. It said AI is destroying the 4-year degree, the bachelor's degree. And it's difficult. It's difficult for a school to pivot quickly and adopt a new technology like this because they have an accreditation process. It takes years. It takes sometimes 2 to 3 years for them to update their curriculum. So yes, the professor might like give you some supplemental assignments and let you go do some things, but he can't change like the fundamentals of the course because it'll have to get reaccredited. Now, if you're looking for a school, find one that's emphasizing AI, even if it's just a little bit. Okay, they will be better than one that doesn't. Okay, and so again, that's straight from a former college professor. All right, so look, we've done all this now. It says it fixed it all. Now, what I'm going to say is, watch this pro tip. Okay, now use ultra thinking. Go back and look at that security report. And I want you one more time to evaluate each one of those changes and the implementation of those changes. Make sure we didn't break anything and also evaluate that we comprehensively fix these things because I don't want to see them again. Okay. Hey, thanks for the questions, guys. Keep them coming. Who else has joined us here? Okay, I haven't even showed off the app yet. Okay, here's our app, guys. So I told you about what we're building, User Vibes OS. It collects users' vibes from users throughout the user journey lifecycle, okay? And we are focusing on the feedback phase over here. And you can see the feedback has feature requests and bug reports. So let's show you what that's looking like, okay? I'm gonna let this thing go here and fix and do its thing, okay? So here's what our app looks like. When you come to the website, to the homepage, it looks like this. I'm running it locally, so it's kind of slow. All right, so this is what our landing page looks like, and you get all of this out of the box with that secure vibe coding OS that I've been telling you about all night. Okay, again, find it on GitHub right here. You can install it. It takes you about 15 minutes to install it. You get all the security stuff baked in. You get authentication, you get billing, you can take credit cards. You get a real-time database, Convex. You get all the security stuff baked in. It would take you weeks to figure that out, but I give it to you. You can install it in 10 minutes, all right? So you also get this landing page that we're going to update these placeholder images, but notice how they're kind of responsive. We can take credit cards. We have testimonials that we'll fill in. Check this out. Like as we move around this thing, see the dots are like actually moving. That's kind of cool. All right, so it's a cool website. And then on the back end, once they log in, it looks like this. Okay, so this is just placeholder data right now, but it's reactive. Like if we click this, look how it has animations. Really slick. We're going to fill this in with real data here shortly. We have a security dashboard because we are secure vibe coders, right? So we put a lot of security in our app, and if the users violate that security, then we get these alerts, and we give these alerts then to the developer, and they can do something about it. They can maybe blacklist these users at their firewall, and I'll show you how to do that in future videos. They can protect themselves, like if they're getting attacked. Okay, and then here's the module we've been working on, the feedback module. There's also API keys module I'll show you first. That's where they set up their API keys, just like you would expect. We're protecting them from the user. They can show them, and they can revoke them and delete them. Okay, but let's go into the feedback module. And here's what it looks like. So you'll see right now I have one pending comment awaiting approval. We allow this site allows the users to submit a comment on a feature request. And then it goes into, if you choose as a developer, you can set those for approval, and you set that over here under settings. We have a setting down here that says moderation enabled. Okay, so when we turn that on and hit say update here, then what happens is all new comments come into the pending queue, and then they have to be approved. Okay, and all right, now. When we come into the actual board itself, what we see is at the top would be the moderation queue, and we can go ahead and approve this one, right? But I'm just going to leave that there right now. And then we actually see the actual board. It's a Kanban board of these feature requests that have come in, and we can drag and drop those. All of this is working. We did all this in about 25 hours, guys. Like this is a professional app, and we could sell this now, but it's not. I'm not quite satisfied with it yet. Okay, let's show some more functionality. When the feedback comes in, it goes into this inbox, and we have bug reports. And when you click on something, it's like a mailbox over here. Okay, and then you can add them to those boards that we were just looking at, and they'll go either into the backlog. That's a list of work to be done. We can move it over to the doing, the testing, or the done. And these are just like, it's called a Kanban board. It's a development concept. We also get feature requests, right? So as a developer, you want to get these feature requests and these bug reports easily from your users, no matter where your app's at. Okay, so we make it easy for them to install. Here's the instructions of how they install it. I clicked over here on the embed tab. They just put a JavaScript call in here, and eventually we'll put that out on a CDN like this. Okay, that's just a placeholder right now. A CDN is a content distribution network. It's the cloud, basically. Okay, so we'll push our JavaScript out to the edge of the cloud. We'll use Vercel for that. And then once they have it, they have to set up a couple private variables in their environmental file. We tell them, here's what they are, and they can copy those. They can also show them if they want. And then here's what they do on the back end. Okay, they have to set up the Java Web Token, the JSON Web Token it's called. And here's how they do that. We give them the code. They can just copy that and drop it into their code. And then here's what they do in the front end. Okay, so to a developer, this makes sense. To a vibe coder, it makes sense too. You just take this and copy it and drop it into your project, and you'll be rocking and rolling. Okay. And then this is what our app does right now. It gives user feedback, and it also gives bug reports. All right, and here's what a demo looks like of it. Okay. And so here's what it looks like out on a user website, and we can like click here and it would show like what it actually looks like on a website. Okay, there's what it would look like. Okay, so they can submit feature requests, bug reports, and here's what the bug reports look like. So they can submit a bug, for example, like I'll just put one in, bug 2. Okay, it broke. Okay, step 1, install. Step 2, broke. Okay, expected behavior, it worked. Actual behavior, it's broke. Okay, and then go ahead and submit that, and bam. Okay, so that's submitted the bug report. We should see that on the back end now. Over here, what we'll see is we have a new bug report. Let's see right here. No, excuse me. Over in the feedback window, we see in the inbox at the top of it, less than a minute ago, okay, we got a bug in. See how that worked? And this is immediate, guys. Let me show you something. Like if I have the test site up here, okay, and you could see the feature request in here. So notice this feature request. Let's see where it says test request over here. Let me scroll down here to test request. Okay, it's this bottom one. Notice the count right here. It says 0. Now watch how Convex does for us. If I vote over here, it's going to immediately update as soon as I click it. Bam. Okay, now we've got a bug. That's what happens. All right, so hold on a second. Yeah, we've got a bug, and it's probably because of the security stuff. All right, that's good to know. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to clear this out, and I'm going to click again and make sure I get a log for this bug. Okay, take this log, and I'm going to punch it in. I'm going to say, okay, it's great that you fixed all of that, but now I can't submit a vote. So see these logs here and check the code again. Now, before I do that, I want to make sure I refresh this page because, maybe I just got bad code here. Like maybe I have a stale page. It's very possible. Like my session could have expired and that's what the problem was. Okay, so let me go to test requests. Notice down here. Okay, it does work now. Okay, I just had to refresh. Okay, user error. Okay. And reason why it left here is because whenever you vote, these are ranked by vote count. So it went to the top of the list. Okay. So, and notice over here, it updated the number immediately. Now watch me unclick it. It's going to drop out of the top list. And it's also this one's going to go to a 0 immediately. Watch this. Okay. Bam. See that? It's gone. And it dropped to the bottom of the list again. Okay. So our site works. And this is a professional app, guys. Like we could sell this. Like developers would pay for this right now. I know I would pay for it because I need one of these, and right now the options are very expensive. If you're a coder, like there's not a lot of options to do this. Go out and do some research and you'll see our competitors. They're pretty weak. Okay. All right. So bug report probably needs a picture, a screenshot field. Yeah. Hey, that's not a bad idea. Thank you for that. So let's get rid of this and say, okay, hey, that's great. Thank you. For validating that each of those are fixed with a high degree of confidence. Now I want you on the bug report form to add the ability to for the user to upload a screenshot. There you go. We are vibe coding, folks. That's what you do. You get an idea, you get a vibe, and you put it in. Thanks for that, by the way. Is this built over a SaaS template? Yes. I released a SaaS template called Secure Vibe Coding OS. You can find it out here on GitHub, Secure Vibe Coding OS. Drop me a star if you end up coming across it. It's only been out here a month and I'm trying to get my star count up. And on this, you'll learn about my Secure Vibe Coding Masterclass. You can click there, find out more about me. Check me out on LinkedIn. Been around 36 years, written 7 books in cybersecurity. I know what I'm talking about. I built this library. I forked it off of another starter template, and then I put the security batteries in it. Okay, so I installed the security stuff here, the heart of it. Okay, so you get all this stuff. Security batteries are included. So it's a secure SaaS template. Okay, the most secure SaaS template out there. That's what this thing is. Okay. It's a security hardened SaaS starter template. And I released it, and go for it. It'll take you about 10 minutes to install. All of the instructions are down here. And then inside of there, then you start building on it, and you get that landing page and the dashboard and all that stuff for free. And when you've installed it, you get authentication with Clerk, you get credit card payments, all that stuff. So it's a straight up, full stack SaaS. And so go for it. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not concerned about leaving the image out there in the S3 bucket. It'll be, in fact, it's not even using S3. Okay, so this is using Convex underneath the hood, and everything's going to store in the database, and we'll keep it forever unless they delete it. Okay, so here it goes, adding a file upload, mutations for screenshots. Again, we use Convex. I've used Postgres in the past, can't stand it. It's too complicated. People love it. Hey, God love them. But they just admit that they don't want to change. Okay, there's much newer technology out there. I used to use Mongo after that, and I love that. It's more flexible, more scalable. By the way, you Postgres lovers, go put like, 1 million records in your database and see what happens. It's going to blow up. Like it's going to turn, like the queries will take 5 minutes to return. Like SQL databases just don't scale. So I like no SQL databases, but Convex is kind of a mix between SQL and no SQL. But it is a real-time database, and it's written in TypeScript, which is what we use, and it is slick, man. All the developers out there are raving on it. It's only about a year old, though. I must admit, it's fairly new. So that's caused us a little bit of headache because like the LLMs aren't trained on it. So sometimes we'll get like the LLM will do something stupid. But last week, Anthropic came out with Opus 4.5, and all of our Convex issues went away. So like I haven't had a Convex bug like in a week. Whereas like when we were on Sonnet 4.5, like it was like every time I put like this feature request in here for a screenshot, it would give us some errors like with the database, and we'd have to like troubleshoot it. But all that went away whenever we went to Opus. I love Opus 4.5. I don't care what anybody out there is saying. It's funny to watch all the influencers. They go off and they chase these shiny objects like Gemini. Actually, they're just, trying to get engagement for the site. I don't blame them. But they'll 1 month they're fans of Gemini, then they'll go to Codex or, OpenAI. And then as soon as Anthropic comes out with a new model, guess what? They all switch back, right? So I just stay with Claude Code, and I've played with the others, but I don't see anything there. I don't see a reason to switch to them. I save a lot of money and time with the latest models on Claude Code. Yeah, Convex from way back. Oh, okay, cool. How long has it been around? I thought it's only been like a year. Also had similar template like yours from other creator. Okay, cool. Check out my stuff, man. Sounds like you're a developer, or at least are you vibe coder or straight up developer, or both? I'm both. Okay, looks like it's done. I have in my Claude file, I tell it to always run a TSC check after major changes. So here, that's how I knew it was almost done. Okay, so look, it put the Convex stuff in, and here's the cool thing. Everything it does, it has security in mind because I use Claude Skills. So what I gave you as part of that template or that Secure Vibe Coding OS is a folder in here that's got security agents. It does all these security scannings. That's what we did the first half of this video. Go back and watch that if you like. And then check out these security skills here. I give you these baked in. There's about 30 of them nested in these folders. And so it knows every prompt that it does, it has security baked in. And it's called progressive revelation. It'll go into these Claude skills and like pick up like rate limiting when it needs it. And it knows how to implement rate limiting based on how Convex does it. Because I've put all of that stuff in here for you guys. So yeah, developer who turned vibe coder. Yeah, me too. Hey man, we can do 10 times more. I do 100 times more on some weeks, like literally. Like I know me, and I know it would take me months to do what I'm doing like in an hour. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy. So I hope you guys are leveraging this. I hope you're catching some of this vibes that we're throwing out, and I hope you benefit from all of this. All right, so look, we says we got a screenshot here. Let's go see it. Okay. Submit a bug report here. Okay, bug test 3, test 3. Okay, these don't have asterisks on them, so they're optional. Okay, here's the screenshot. Okay, let me get a screenshot. Okay, here's my screenshot. Okay, and let's see, I'll add a screenshot. Let me drop that up here. Okay, it's uploaded. Submit it. Uh-oh. Look, I was singing the praises a little too early. Okay, so that's cool. Look what we got here. We'll take that, copy that. Convex error. A good question on the orchestration tools. I've looked at BMAD and the others, but I don't care for them. They're too heavy, man. Man, you like BMAD fills up your whole context window before you even get started. And you know these models, they get dumber like the fuller your context window is. They don't quite understand that yet, why that's happening. But like when you get up over 50% and 75% of your context window, it's that model is regressing. You're getting like last year's model's performance out of it. So I don't like that. I don't like MCPs because they fill up the context window. That's why I like skills, Claude skills. Now, I think what will happen with BMAD is he's going to port all that stuff over to Claude skills because I know he likes Claude code, and he might have already done it. I just might be slow. I like what Brian's doing there, but like I don't like how it fills up the context window. And I'll tell you something else I don't like about spec-driven development. It puts the AI in too much of a box, in a corner. Now, that's just my opinion. You can disagree, okay? But I believe that AI is more creative than I will ever be. And if it's not now, it certainly will be. And why would I ever want to like limit AI to my ability to like envision what a process should be? And I don't care how many questions it asks me, like I'm going to fall back on my experience and I don't know everything. So I would rather let it take a shot at it and then iterate on that. Okay. And so I'm much more in that camp than I am spec driven. I know where the spec-driven guys are coming from. Look, I'm a computer, like I have a master's in computer science. I know how to code, okay? I have a PhD in IT. So I get that. They're like software engineers, okay? But they're trying to turn AI into a software engineer. It's not. It's better than that. It's better than a software engineer. So I will argue to the cows come home that like you don't need that. Now, again, hey, you do you, I'll do me. Some people swear by that, but I'm telling you, like, I come up, I believe, with a better result, more creative result than what I can do just by letting AI take a shot at it. I'll give it the directions, I give it guardrails. So you could call those skills, somewhat a framework, right? And so it knows not to do certain things, right? Because I say in those skills, do not do this, right? So I give it some guardrails, but then I'm going to let it loose. And then I'm going to use security testing and things and, to make sure that it's performing right. Yeah. Yeah, iterate, man. But I hope you understand what I'm saying. Let it be creative. Like I believe those guys are well intentioned, but they're trying to turn AI, their Claude code, into a 30-year, architect like they are, and that's like absurd. That's assuming that it's not better than they are, and that's why I don't. That's a fool's errand to me, man. Like no. Like, and if it's not better, than them today, it will be by, the end of next quarter, right? So like, I put my bet on AI. and it's just getting better all the time. These models are coming out, they're getting better and better. Now, the problem with security, though, is that AI is trained on all that code out there, including the vulnerabilities. So let that sink in. So it does, in many ways, it doesn't know any better. Because after all, under the hood, it's all just a statistical probability, right? Based on its training set. Well, if you've trained on all that buggy code out there, and we know that, like, they've done studies and show for every 1,000 lines of code, there's like 10 vulnerabilities and stuff, right? Like, that's humans make vulnerable code. We haven't found a human who doesn't do that yet. So because their code's out there on GitHub, like, there are vulnerabilities all over the place in GitHub, and that stuff is trained into these models. Now, that'll get better over time. I think it'll start training on stuff besides like GitHub code, and it'll start training on proper code. And like, that'll get weaned out like over 5 years or so. Who knows? I'm just guessing. But until then, we have an opportunity to jump in there and put some guardrails around this AI and do it securely. And that's what I'm all about on this channel, right? So you can learn vibe coding and BMAD and all that stuff elsewhere. But if you want to do it securely, hang out with me for a bit. All right. Check out that free mentoring in the QR code, also in the link below. And check out, make sure that you give me a thumbs up on whatever platform you're coming at me on, because I'm streaming like on 5 platforms right now. Okay, so what do we got going on here? Okay, the error check passes. This fix was added. Okay, well, let's see. Okay, all right, well, we got our test 3 here. And does it have a screenshot in it? I'm not seeing it. We did call it test 3, I think, right? I think so. Let's try it again. A lot of these errors in here are because of my plugins, so I'm not concerned about them. Test 4. Okay. Test 4. See how it immediately went over there? You can't do that, folks, with Postgres or Mongo, unless you use Redis or something on top of it. And even that's very difficult, and it's not that snappy. Okay, so it's like there's a queuing, a messaging, and a polling system, and it, like, maybe a second or two later, it would update. Like, this thing is real time. Okay, you can't beat that. I love it. All right, so, but we're not seeing the screenshots in here yet because it didn't add them. So let's tell it to add them. Okay, that's working now, but I'm not seeing the screenshots whenever I expand it in the inbox over on the right-hand side. So make sure that we're showing those screenshots. Okay, we're going to wrap this up as soon as it finishes this, and then we're going to go ahead and call it a night. I'll be back tomorrow, same bad channel, same bad time, 8 p.m. Eastern. That's New York time. Please tune in and follow along. We're about 30 hours into this app now, and I think we have about 3 to 6 months worth of development done. And in another 30 hours or so, we'll probably have this thing launched. We've been at this 3 weeks. This is the 21st day right now. It's remarkable to me, like, how far we've gone, just going about an hour and a half at a time. So go back and look at the previous sessions, pick up a lot of tips. I'm laying down a lot of pearls of wisdom, 36 years of doing this. Okay. And it just kind of comes out as we go. So hang out with me. Make sure you like and subscribe. Check out those channels. Also check out my Secure Vibe Coding Masterclass inside. I'm running a special on that through Cyber Monday, which is tomorrow at midnight. So you can learn about that. Go inside my free mentoring. You search for Black Friday sale, and you'll see near the top details on that. But anyway, hey, appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Let's just see this feature working, and then we are going to go shut it down. Look at here. All right, guys, look at that. Real-time update. We've got a screenshot here now. Look at that. Thanks for that idea, by the way. And by the way, we dog food here. So, like, that's the term developers use. We eat our own dog food. So I'm going to figure out a way to not be weird and put it in here. I think I'm going to put a little link down here that says we eat our own dog food. And when you click on that, it'll actually let you put feature requests in and bugs. Now, this is on our dev site here, but soon in like a few more sessions, I'm going to get it live. So keep coming back, and soon you'll be able to log in here as beta testers and bang on this and use it, deploy it out on your own sites. Okay. And I'd love to get that feedback and see what works and what doesn't. Okay. So stay tuned, and I will see you guys tomorrow night. Until then, be blessed by the best and take care out there. Stay safe.